Hi there, Andrew Ambrosius. Welcome to another episode of The Art of Business English. Now, I'm here again joined with my colleague Abel, helping us today talking about wishes and regrets in English. So basically, the focus of today's episode will be on the 4 areas of talking about wishes and regrets in English. If you don't know what wishes and regrets are, well, basically a wish is a desire. In Spanish, it would be ojalá. And a regret is something that you regret, which would be lamentar in Spanish. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on the 4 ways that you can use wishes and regrets in English. Abel is quite versed in explaining grammar. He's a grammar specialist here at the Art of Business English. So I'm going to get him to help explain today the 4 wishes, the 4 uses of wishes and regrets. And as always, this episode we've just chucked the camera up. We haven't really rehearsed or anything. So bear with us as we do our best to explain this as easy as possible. Anyway, Abel, how are you, buddy? It's good to have you here.
Good, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, it's always good to have you back again. So basically, we're going to be looking at the 4 areas of wishes and regrets. There's the infinitive, so wish plus infinitive. There is wish plus the simple past.
Yes.
Wish plus the past perfect, and wish plus conditional, no?
Definitely. Yeah. I would like to go through the 4 usages in brief, and then we can discuss each one if you want.
Yep, okay.
So the first usage is wish plus the infinitive. Actually, we use wish plus the infinitive only in formal contexts. We would not use this structure, for example, in our everyday speech.
Okay.
So instead of saying, for example, want or would like, which is quite formal, when you write, for example, you say wish. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I wish to inform you of my absence tomorrow.
Okay, so you can use that in a formal context,
especially in writing. Imagine that you had a meeting, for example, and that you wouldn't be able to attend that meeting. So you could email, for example, the chairman or your manager saying, that you can't do it. So in a formal way, you could proceed saying, I wish to inform you of my absence tomorrow, for instance.
Okay, so basically in this context, wish is being used in the present, no? It's being used now.
Plus the infinitive, yes.
Yeah, plus the infinitive.
Yes.
So I've seen it as well. You could use it in formal communication with your clients as well. Like, for example, if you wanted to deliver someone some bad news, you could say, I wish to inform you that your contract has been cancelled. Would that work?
Yeah, you can do that actually, but usually we use regret in this context.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I regret to inform you, for example, of something. It means that you're going to give some bad news here.
Some bad news. So
yes. You need to use, of course, regret plus the infinitive.
Okay, yeah.
Because in English, you need to know that we use regret plus the ing form as well. And usually we use regret plus the ing form when we talk about something that is part of the past. If I say, for example, I regret giving you bad news, it means that I have already given you bad news and now I regret that.
Okay, so regret with gerund would be in the past?
Yes.
And regret plus infinitive would be
for
giving
the future.
Bad news now and into the future.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. So the first one is wish plus infinitive to say I would like or I desire.
Yes.
In a formal way, usually written.
Yes.
Regret is used in the same way with infinitive to give bad news.
To give bad news, for the future.
Yeah, now and in the future.
Something that you haven't said.
Yeah.
And regret plus the ing form to feel sorry for what you have said.
Okay, perfect.
Or what you have done.
Okay, I think that's clear.
Okay. The second usage is wish plus the past simple. Actually, we use this structure when we talk about a wish in the present or in the future. For example, when you say, I wish, or if only, I knew how to use a computer.
If only, okay.
Yes, because here we can use both structures. We can use wish or if only, and the meaning is the same.
So how would you translate if only into Spanish?
I would say si solamente.
Okay, sí solamente. Okay. Sí solamente.
Yeah, I wish,
Okay.
for example, I wish
Okay.
I knew how to use a computer, meaning that I
can
don't
say
know how
ojalá,
to
no?
use a computer,
Yeah,
and I
ojalá.
would like to
Yeah.
learn how to use it.
We could use ojalá as well, maybe. Or no? Ojalá pudiera.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think it's
yes.
important to note that this simple past, wish plus the simple past, in Spanish, you would use the subjunctive, follow the subjunctive form. So you would say, ojalá fuera, no? Ojalá
Yes.
fuera, ojalá pudiera. So
Yes.
it's important to remember for our listeners that we tell them that I think they need to be aware that the subjunctive form doesn't exist in English. So you need to be careful not to confuse tenses or when you see a subjunctive. So here, it's very important that you know the rule. If you're using wish plus simple past, you need to make sure you use the simple past, and it means this. So how do we use it? What is it for?
Actually, we use it to express a wish in the present or in the future. For example, when you say, I wish I knew how to use a computer, it means that at that time of speaking, you don't know how to use one. And of course, you would like to, okay, or you have this wish to learn how to use it.
Okay.
Also, when you say, I wish I were a millionaire.
Yeah, it's the most common, no?
Yeah.
I wish I was rich.
So, yeah, that's right. The thing is, you need to know that the form of the verb to be in this structure of wish plus past simple is to be were all the time, and for all persons, for I, you, he, etc.
You can't interchange. You can't say I wish I was rich or I wish I were
Better
rich.
not. I would say the more correct form is I wish I were, actually. Yes, because that is not the real past. It's true that when students get introduced to this structure, okay, they see wish plus past simple, but actually the past simple refers to something that started and completely finished in the past. And here we are talking about a situation that hasn't taken place at all.
Okay,
so it is actually, syntactically speaking, the correct word is unreal past and not past simple.
So unreal past would be with were, and real past would be with was.
Absolutely.
Okay. But in practice, we can use both, no?
Yeah, well, especially in everyday speech, it's like conditional too. Sometimes you say, if I was a millionaire, I would buy a mansion in California.
Yeah.
But actually, the more correct way to say the same would be, if I were a millionaire, because at that time of speaking, okay, you are not one. So you're talking about a desire, okay, or a wish.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's a hypothetical situation. So you are just imagining.
Okay, so there you go. If you want to be syntactically correct, you would use I wish I were rich. However, in everyday English, we would hear I wish I was rich as well. So it's up to I guess it's up to the individual to use it how they want. The most important thing is that we are clear about the distinction between I wish plus infinitive and I wish plus simple past. Okay, so the first one, I wish plus infinitive, is I would like. So you're using it in formal communication, normally written communication. I wish plus simple past is to express a desire in the present and into the future, but it's a desire about a hypothetical situation because it hasn't happened, it doesn't exist, it's just an invented or imagined desired outcome or desired reality. Okay?
That's
so
right.
What then is the third
third usage is wish or if only plus the past perfect. And actually we use this structure when we talk about expressing regrets.
Okay, regrets.
And expressing regrets about what happened. Actually, it's similar to conditional type 3. When we talk about the past, saying we cannot change it. For example, you say, imagine that you have missed the bus to work this morning, and you say, if only I had woken up early.
Yeah.
It means that if I had woken up early, I would not have missed the bus. But the thing is, you cannot change the situation. It's too late.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the past, saying it's impossible to change it. So you're just expressing regrets.
Yeah.
Or when you say, for example, if I had worked harder, I would have passed.
Okay, so let's just clarify then for people the past perfect. So wish plus past perfect, how do we form the past perfect structure?
Well, the past perfect structure is simple, okay? We put the auxiliary have in the past simple, and then
had,
we keep, yes, had, in the past simple, and then we keep the past participle of the main verb.
So it's always had plus the past participle of a main verb. So
Yes.
had gone, had been, had spoken.
Yes, and of course, as students know, the past participle is always in the third column.
Yeah, the third column of
Yes.
the irregular, if you're looking at irregular verbs. Remember, if they are regular verbs, then the simple past and the past participle are the same, always finishing in ed. However, if they are irregular verbs, then you're going to have to memorize them because the second column, the simple past, may be different from the past participle form. Okay, so you've got run, ran, run, for example. That's an irregular verb. Whereas walk would be walk, walked, walked, because that's a regular verb. So both the simple past and the past participle are the same. So basically then we understand that wish plus had plus the third column or the past participle form of a verb. So that is then talking about something we regret.
Yes.
Yes.
Regrets about the past.
So we have to make sure it's clear that people understand that the action happened.
Yes.
But when we talk about it, we're reflecting back to that time in the past, and then we're expressing an alternative desire. No?
Yeah.
We're saying, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I had. Remember, you can use it both in the affirmative or the negative. I wish I had woken up earlier.
Yes.
So that you're expressing a desire to have woken up earlier in the past. However, you didn't, and you can't change it, so you regret being late to work. But you can also work in the negative. No, I wish I hadn't
Yes.
gone to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning because now I'm very tired. Okay, so
That's right.
Yeah, you can say I wish I had or I wish I hadn't. So that is pretty straightforward, isn't it? And then the structure is always the
Yes.
same.
Absolutely.
And how would you? I mean, in Spanish you would translate that with the subjunctive as well, wouldn't you? You would say ojalá que hubiera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's important. Now you wouldn't say ojalá que había.
No.
Yeah, even the past perfect in Spanish is había hecho, había hablado. So you wouldn't say había. In English we use the had because, as I said earlier, there is no subjunctive form in English, so we're just using different tenses depending on which structure we're talking about. So here it's very important to remember it's always had plus the third column or the past participle form of the verb. Okay, and that's for talking about past regrets. Okay,
Yes.
so we've covered three now.
Yes.
We've covered the infinitive, which is for desire.
No, the infinitive for being formal.
Yeah, being formal
Yes.
in formal situations. Yeah, expressing something formally,
Yes.
usually written communication. Where with the simple past, which is a desire for something to happen, which has not happened.
Exactly.
We'd like it to happen now or into the future.
Or in the future.
And the third one is wish plus the past perfect, where we are reflecting back on an action that happened and desiring an alternative outcome.
Yeah.
Or
but-
imagining a different
Exactly.
situation. Yeah.
But that is impossible, so we are just expressing regrets.
Exactly, just
Yes.
expressing regrets. Okay, what's the fourth form?
The fourth form is the structure wish plus would.
Wish plus would. So
Yes.
would, when we say would, we're meaning like the conditional.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I would go is iría.
So
No?
to be more precise here, okay, the structure is always wish plus subject
Yeah.
plus would plus the infinitive.
Okay, so wish plus subject. So
Yes.
so subject
Yes.
plus wish.
No. Wish first plus subject
Yeah.
plus would plus the infinitive. Why subject here? Okay, because actually we need to have two different subjects.
Okay, so 1 second. When you say the second, okay, I think we need to clarify that. The first subject is
Yes.
I.
Yeah. For instance, yes.
Yeah. And then the second subject is a subject pronoun.
It has to be different subject, otherwise we wouldn't be able to use this structure.
Okay, so we've got subject plus would plus another subject.
Absolutely.
But what form does that subject take? Is it the object pronoun after verb?
No, another subject actually.
Like can it be I wish you?
Yes.
Can it be I wish he?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so it's not I wish him.
It's one of the requirements for the use of this structure. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible to use this structure if we were to use only one subject or the same subject.
Okay, just to make it clear for our audience, we're saying that it's I
Yes.
or
subject one, I would say,
subject one,
plus would plus subject two.
and the structure or the form of subject two is I, you, he, like a normal subject.
Yes, yes.
It's not him, her.
No,
Okay.
no, it should be one. Yeah, it should be a personal pronoun.
So it's not like this. Okay, it's not an object pronoun after a verb.
No, it should be a personal pronoun too.
Like
yes.
I will call her. No, it's like this.
No, not really.
It's
Yes.
like I
yes.
wish she.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I
Yes.
just wanted to clarify that for the audience.
So we use this structure when we talk about annoyance, or we talk about a behavior that we disapprove.
So we use it for annoyance.
Yes.
Or expressing frustration and behavior we do not approve
And
of.
that you complain about. You complain about a behavior actually that you disapprove.
Okay, so subject one plus would plus subject two plus
plus the infinitive.
plus the infinitive. So
The bare infinitive.
the bare infinitive.
Absolutely, because any verb that follows a modal verb must be in the bare infinitive.
Okay, let me just clarify that for the audience. So when we say modal verbs, we're referring to things like must, can, would, could, may, might. Okay, these are your modals. And for example, after should, which is also a conditional modal verb, you can't put I wish. I should to go. Okay, we would put I should go. When we say bare infinitive, we mean an infinitive form of the verb without putting the to. As you know, when we conjugate a verb, a subject plus another verb, the following verb is always in infinitive form. For example, I like to cook. Okay, you don't put I like cook. You need to use the infinitive form I like to cook. Whereas after modal verbs, you can only put the bare infinitive. So it's I should cook, not I should to cook. So what Abel is trying to say here is that we put subject one plus wish plus subject two plus a verb without to, a bare infinitive. Okay, so
that's right. For instance, when I say I wish you wouldn't arrive so late all the time.
Okay, your boss complains.
Yeah.
No?
So imagine that your boss is complaining about you not being on time.
Yeah.
And he says or she says, I wish you wouldn't arrive late or so late all the time. That means that you are not punctual and that you arrive most of the time or all the time late. And this has really annoyed your boss, that your boss is complaining about this behavior. Actually, that is not responsible.
Yeah, they're expressing frustration.
Yes, if you take a look at this sentence, let's study the sentence. I, so this is subject one, wish, okay, so wish, you, subject two, wouldn't, so would here, but in the negative form. Arrive, so this is the bare infinitive, late all the time.
Okay, perfect. So you can also use it again affirmatively. You could say, I wish you would
be on time.
Yeah, you could say like that. I wish you would be on time, or I wish you would help me more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So again, when we put with this example I just gave you, that's even getting a little bit more complicated. You can see you've got the subject one, I wish, so I subject one, wish plus subject two, you, and then would plus the bare infinitive help, but then we want to bring the action back to us, so we have to put me.
Yes.
So then I'm putting an object pronoun.
Yes.
This is what I was referring to before.
Yes.
Okay, so I wish you would help me, I wish you wouldn't arrive late, and this form is to express some frustration or complain a little bit. And we use that a lot. I mean,
yes.
I wish you would stop talking so much.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Or if you are talking, for example, to someone and they're just talking non-stop, and then you can say to them, I wish you would, listen to me.
Yeah.
So this means that, well, I have the right to talk too.
Exactly.
So I wish you would listen to me. It means that you're complaining about the fact that, he's doing all the talk actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Another thing that I would like to add when it comes to wishes and regrets is that when it comes to three usages, we can use if only instead of wish.
Oh, so we can use if only. Okay, which one?
Yes.
Which
when we use wish plus the past simple, when we use wish plus the past perfect, and when we use wish plus would, in these three situations, we can either use wish or instead, if only instead.
Okay, so just to clarify, we've got the first one was wish plus infinitive, but that is only wish plus infinitive.
Here we cannot use if only. Yes.
Yeah, you can't say if only.
If only to inform you of my absence, that wouldn't make sense.
That doesn't
Semantically and syntactically, it would be incorrect.
Okay, so we can use it with the simple past. So if only I were rich.
Yes.
We can use it with the third option, which is with the past perfect. If only I hadn't gone to bed so late last night.
Yes.
And the third one for complaining or expressing frustration. If only he wouldn't smoke in the office.
That's right.
Okay, good. Well, I think that's pretty clear explanation.
And one thing I would like to add is that when students study or want to learn how the structure with wishes or with if only functions in English, they could make a comparison with conditionals. Because for instance, we use conditional type 2 in the same way we use wish plus past simple.
Okay, what's conditional type 2 just for the
audience? Conditional type 2 is used for hypothetical situations or situations that are not real at the time of speaking. For instance, when you say, if I were a millionaire, I would buy a mansion in California. It means that at that very moment, you are not a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's possible to be one in the future, but at that time of speaking, you are just imagining a situation if you were a millionaire or hypothesizing.
So type 2 or the second conditional is simple past plus would.
Yes, it's if plus simple past. Actually here too, it's not simple past, it's unreal past plus would plus the infinitive, and it has to be the be infinitive.
Okay.
If you start with the if clause, and one thing you need to know is that if you start with the if clause, you must put comma after the if clause.
You need to connect them with a comma.
But you have a possibility to start with the main clause and then there is no punctuation. It's only one piece, one sentence. For example, when you say, if I were a millionaire, comma, I would buy a mansion in California. Or I would buy a mansion in California if I were a millionaire. Here you shouldn't put any comma.
Yeah, you don't need to put the comma.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean the most common one, I guess, with this structure, we hear it all the time, would be, if I were you, I would do this. Okay, so that's quite a common example when we're trying to offer people advice. The situation is not real, but you're telling someone, if I were you, I would do this. So if I, unreal simple part. And you can see here we use were. If I were you.
If I were, yes.
Yeah, if I were
exactly,
you,
yes. Because I'm not you. Exactly, because I'm not you.
Okay.
And also when we use wish plus the past perfect, it's similar to conditional type 3. So the structure of conditional type 3 is as follows. It's if plus past perfect.
Yeah, if I had gone.
Yes, and then would plus have plus the past participle of the main verb.
Yeah.
For example, you say, if I had worked hard enough, I would have passed. It means that you didn't work hard and you didn't pass.
Yeah.
So this is similar to, I wish I had worked harder, for instance.
So there's parallels between the wish, the different forms of wish, and the uses of the second and third conditional.
Absolutely. So if students get to make this comparison, I'm positive they would understand both structures better.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, you do get taught the first, second, zero, first, second, and third conditional quite a lot. It's quite typical grammar to be taught in your English classes. Okay, well, I think that's really clarified it. And obviously, to our listeners, if you do have questions or if you'd like us to clarify that, or you do have any doubts regarding wishes, using wish for desire, regrets, complaining, then let us know. Of course, we're going to be here to help you.
Sure.
Last week we had our 1 year anniversary, so that was great. Answered some questions from some of our listeners, so I hope everyone enjoyed that. And this week I'm starting the Powerful Presentations coaching program, which is going to be pretty exciting. Been working pretty hard on developing some interesting and engaging content for that small group coaching program. You can join still that program up until Tuesday. I'm starting this Wednesday, so if you're listening to this podcast in the middle of November, it's going to be starting on the 21st of November. Anyway, that's about it for me. Do you have anything else you wanted to add for this podcast episode, Abel?
Well, we'd love to have like feedback and especially questions from the part of
I love getting
our
listeners.
listeners.
I love getting questions from you guys out there. So don't be shy. Fire off an email or get in touch through the Art of Business English website. But apart from that, remember that we can use wishes and regrets in different ways. There's 4 different ways. You've got the infinitive for formal use where we want to express would like to do something, but we're doing it in a formal way, typically written. Okay. Secondly, you've got wish plus the simple past, where we're talking about something that isn't real, isn't true, but we would desire it now or into the future. Then you've got wish plus the past perfect, where we're reflecting back on something that did happen and we regret that it happened or it didn't happen. Remember, you can use it in affirmative and negative, and that's where we're using wish in terms of regret. And then there's the fourth one, where we are using wish plus a conditional, and that is where we're expressing frustration, or we're complaining, or we don't approve of someone's behavior. Make sure if you are not clear, you go back and listen to the different structures. Okay, remember you've got subject 1, wish plus subject 2, and then you've got would plus a bare infinitive. And remember everything that Abel told you about the parallels between the second and third conditionals. And I think that's about it, really.
Yes,
that's a lot of stuff.
So. Yeah.
So, guys, that's been. I hope that's been a helpful episode for you. As always, it's a pleasure having you here, and really look forward to seeing you for next week's episode of the Art of Business English. Take care, and thanks, Abel, for coming.
Thank you. Sure, my pleasure.
Okay, take care, guys.
You.
Bye for now.
Bye.